golly, that's good. I cracked myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's.
That's different. I really like that.
They're like together, like peas and carrots. That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychauds or Pechaud's or Pechaud.
This is not what I expected.
Hello, gang. It's Thursday, and I got a new shirt to wear. Show that to you. It's you get to Valentine's Day, and sometimes it feels like bourbon is the only love you have. So not having a Valentine to share the day with yesterday, a friend of mine made this shirt for me. Bourbon is my Valentine, and I'm going to be nice to it, and I'm going to probably wear it annually. But in the vein of Valentine's Day, what I think about when I think of Valentine's Day is fighting. And that's what we did last week. We did the E.H. Taylor versus the Smoke Wagon. And by the way, I'll just share this with you. Join me in whistling taps for my dead soldier. Yep, my E.H. Taylor is now empty. But that's okay. I found out that the Smoke Wagon Small Batch is a better pour. If you missed that one, go back and check it out. Okay. All right, I know. It's sacrilege to say that the Smoke Wagon is a better pour than E.H. Taylor, but the truth is the truth. So this week, we're going to get into a little bit of fighting. Kim's with us. Hey, Kim, she's the one who made my shirt. Thank you. Thank you. Bill's with us. How are you doing, sir? So the brothers. We got Belle Meade, and we got the Nelson brothers Reserve. Now, there's a lot of history behind this. And so the Belle Meade was made by let's just go back. I'll just go back. Belle Meade Bourbon was one of the about 30 different labels that Charles Nelson produced in the late 1800s. It differed from most of his other products. It was produced in conjunction with a third party, Sperry, Wade and Company of Nashville, Tennessee. Sperry, Wade and Company contracted Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery to sell bourbon, rye, corn, and Tennessee whiskeys bearing the Belle Meade brand. Belle Meade Bourbon was the toast of the town when it hit the market in 1878, became known as a great value and a top quality product. However, of course, Tennessee was not alone, but Prohibition hit in 1909, and that was the end of Belle Meade and everything else that Nelson made. 100 years later, his grandchildren, the guys, grandsons, that's the word I was looking for. They had stopped at a roadside rest to get some gas in the car, and they saw a marker, and the marker talked about a distillery bearing their name, the Nelson Distillery. And they're like, and it talked about Charles Nelson. Well, they did some asking around. They found out some stuff about it. Local butcher was actually really helpful, and they sent him down to the Historical Society, and lo and behold, they decided to reopen the distillery. And from 2015 to 2017, it was a meteoric rise. They did great. 2018, they came out with the Belle Meade Cask Strength. They, over time, started to realize that first of all, it was expensive. They were getting it from MGP over in Indiana. It was expensive. So, but the other thing they found out was that they couldn't keep a consistent proof. So the cask strength would come out at different proofs. It'd be 114, it'd be 118, it'd be 120, 116. It was all over the place. So about early 2020s, something like that, they decided they were going to go and call it the Belle Meade Reserve and keep it at 108 108.3 proof, Belle Meade Reserve. And that's kind of when they lost a lot of their interest in the product, because people loved, of all the Belle Meade products, they loved this one. And they made a lot of them. They made the Belle Meade Bourbon, Belle Meade Reserve. They had the Belle Meade Single Barrel at 104.7 proof. They had a sherry cask, a cognac cask, a Madeira cask, Calvados, which is a brandy. And they did a Craftsman cask series, which ended in 2021. They had honey cask, peach cask, tequila cask, cherry cask, they did some stuff. And they did honey starting in about 2018, and they kept it going. So that's kind of the long and the short of it. They did, when they did the Belle Meade, they did keep the horses, the original. They went back into the historical archives and they found the original label, and they decided they were going to stick with that original label. And you might see the horses on the cover there. The horses, where is it? Okay, so the horse depicted on the right is Bonnie Scotland, one of the founders of the Northern Dancer bloodline. Descendants of that bloodline would include Seabiscuit and Secretariat. I don't know, I find that stuff interesting. This one is 113.6 proof. All right. See, I got other factoids. No age statement on it, but it's supposed to be between 7 and 11 years. The oldest guaranteed product within this bottle is going to be an 11-year-old. 64% corn, 30% rye, 6% malted barley, although that is disputed due to MGP and varying mash bills, as well as potential yeast strains. It's said that there's 2 different yeast strains used to bring all the barrels together to create this. In Ohio, when it stopped being sold, it was $69.99. When it first came out, it was $60. So here's the thing. They stopped making it. Let me rephrase that. They didn't stop making it. They stopped selling it outside of Tennessee. And I had to kind of go back and look for some information on that. And I found this Facebook post here that basically says that something is changing. This is 2022, and they haven't updated their Facebook page since this, where they said that it was going to be a Tennessee-only product. They were going to stop the national distribution and replace it with Nelson Brothers. And there was actually somebody that asked some questions about it, and it was confirmed here that indeed it's going to be distillery only. So, or there might be some very small local distribution, but it's basically going to be Tennessee only, distillery only. So that's kind of the skinny behind what happened with Belle Meade, and it just went away and it never came back. And it got replaced with Nelson Brothers. Now, we're going to find out tonight if that was a good choice, because I'm not hearing the greatest things about Nelson Brothers like I'm hearing about Belle Meade. And again, even with Belle Meade, it was the cask strength that was said to be the top of it all. The rest of them were meh. But this one was supposed to be really, really good. I only have the 2 bottles that I bought a number of years ago. Obviously, they stopped making it. Probably 2020 was when this was awarded last, and then they stopped making it, because they wanted that proof to be consistent, which is dumb. Anyway, so we're going to try it first. I'm hoping I didn't mess these glasses up. Actually, I'm going to try the Nelson Brothers first. And again, I'm hoping I didn't mess the glasses up. I might have messed the glasses up. One's darker than the other. God, that's so tough. I actually think this is darker. That one has no age statement. And the mash bill is kept secret. All right. So, and I found a review from Breaking Bourbon, who I really enjoy their stuff. And it's all written. They don't do Bourbcast like I do, which is fine. But I read a written review, and this is not, this is good, they said, but it pales in comparison. So we're going to find out. We're going to do this one first. This is the Nelson Brothers. Nelson Brothers, again, they don't let you know what the mash bill is. They don't tell you what the age statement is. One of 2 bottles being released from their name. The other one is a classic bourbon. It's 90-something proof. Both are available nationally. So, all right. $60. Let's do the nose first. Let's do the nose. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, if this is a similar mash bill to the Belle Meade, we're looking at a 30% rye. That's a very high rye, and that's what I'm getting off this nose, is a very high rye. The spice is really there. Quinn is watching. Hey, Quinn. How are you, sir? Glad you're with us, doing the Belle Meade and the Nelson Brothers. Another brotherly fight here. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of those rye spices. That's kind of taken over. Did you mention that Belle Meade Reserve is discontinued? Belle Meade Reserve is, I think, still available at the distillery in Tennessee. It's been discontinued for nationwide sales. But according to everything I've read, and according to the Facebook post that I put up here, they did say in 2022 that it was going to be a Tennessee-only distribution. They're saying that the parent company, Constellation Brands, wants to save money. That's what I read from another reviewer on Reddit. And he has, I mean, he either copied somebody else's review and is claiming it to be his own, or he's like in two places, because I found another thing with the exact same post. Only it was an actual website, so anyway. Oh, they're different. Gosh, I hope I didn't get these messed up. I poured them and then went, oh, shoot! All right, here we go. Interesting. Very rye forward. So, you know I like Lawrenceburg rye. So that doesn't bother me one bit. I like it. It's got this nice spice to it. It dried out the inside of my lip. Like down here, it dried that out, and then the inside of my upper lip. That was weird. They didn't do anything else. It didn't dry out anything else in the rest of my mouth, just the inside of my lip. That was just weird. Really nice bloom set on the back. The finish is short. And it has that rye spice is what's holding on. It's definitely just staying there. Whichever one wins is the one I'm going to put on ice. So I'm going to let them brawl for a little bit. And then we'll put the winner on water and ice. Yeah, that finish is really short. Compared to other ones I've had just recently, that finish is just really short. Let me give it another one. I'll see if I can pull out some more other than just the rice spice. Getting a little licorice. Got some vanilla on that, definitely some cinnamon. But that's going to be typical with that Lawrenceburg rye. That cinnamon's just going to come out and just go, hello. I can feel it going all the way down. It's not bad. It's not bad. So if somebody is saying, and if this is Nelson Brothers, if I didn't pour the wrong one, mix them up, I don't know. I don't know what I did. But it's 108 proof. And, you know, it's not overly hot. It's actually not bad. That finish is so short, though. That's really unusual. It's been a long time. I think the last time I had a finish this short was when we were doing the tasting of the Henry McKenna. We had 6 different ones, and some of them had a really long finish, and some of them had a very short finish. The short finishes were really great finishes, but they were short. Whereas the longer finishes kind of got a little musty, although there was one that was really good. This one is a very, very short finish. It's like a drive-by finish, you know? Bye. All right, let's move on. Assuming that I got this right, and this is the Belle Meade, let's get into it. The nose on this one, and I'm not going to even say that it's this bottle because I might have messed it up. Hey, Tom. Went to the distillery a few years back and tried a flight of all their finished stuff. Very good. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that too, Quinn. I need to get to a distillery. I still haven't taken a tour anywhere. I take that back. I took a tour in Hilton Head where they were making rum and vodka. Just a small craft distillery. It was nice. But I haven't taken any of the big bourbon tours, or the big bourbon trail tours. I haven't done it. And I would like to. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. Where am I? I don't know. Okay, this is not near as much nose as this one, but very similar notes. I can get that cinnamon and that rye. A little bit of maybe graham cracker, which again is not untypical of a Lawrenceburg rye. Pardon me. All right. I had them messed up because this is quite different than that. At 108 proof, it's a little on the timid side. Not nearly as much flavor. I mean, this was robust and complex. I should say this was robust and complex. This is, you know how when you make copies, eventually you start to run out of ink, and then the copies that you make are pale because you don't have enough ink to do it right? They didn't have enough ink to do this right. It's pale. Compared to that, it's pale. All right. Hey, Brendan, how you doing, sir? Glad you're with us. Larry's with us, too. Hey, how's it going? All right. Yeah. So, for those of you just joining us, bourbon is my Valentine. My friend Kim made this for me. Because she knows. Shirts don't kiss. I mean, they can, I guess. All right. All right, I'm gonna dive back into this and see if I can find something positive about it. Okay. Had I not primed my palate on this one first, this would probably be a pretty decent pour. If it sits there for a while, the flavors start to pop. They're very, very similar to this one. They're just not nearly as robust and not nearly as complex, so there's not as much going on. The proof isn't as high. It's 108 versus 113, I think I said. 113.6, 107.8. So it's got a few points on it. And Brian is watching. Hey, Brian. Welcome to the show. The Belle Meade, of course, is a name that you're not going to see out there very much. It's now distillery only, Tennessee only. Whereas Nelson Brothers is the heir apparent, and it's a real shame because the Belle Meade is a much more robust, much more complex pour. So we're going to get this, well, you know what? I want to see if it dies on what. Now let's give it another taste first. It's not bad. Honestly, it isn't bad. High rye, similar flavors to the Belle Meade, just a little more timid. If I was only going to drink this, it's a nice, what I would call utility whiskey. The problem is it's $60. It ain't worth $60. It's maybe worth $40, honestly. If I had to put a price point on it, 40, that'd be about as high as I would go on it, maybe 42. That's it. This is not a $60 pour. It just flat out isn't. Considering this, when it came out, was a $60 pour. Just isn't. But at 100 and almost 108 point proof, it's not bad. Got decent flavors. Better than I thought it would be. Particularly when you read the Breaking Bourbon. They say, reviewer Jordan Moskal, Moskal, Says, on the surface, Nelson Brothers Reserve's Bourbon $60 price tag seems reasonable until you start dissecting things a little more. Released from a distillery whose name won't be familiar to many modern bourbon drinkers, a blended bourbon without any information on origins, mash bills, or ages used leaves a lot to be desired. And then he just takes that knife, and it's already in there, and he starts to twist that knife. He says, while it's blended well, it contains not a single exciting bone in its body. That's harsh. I think that's more harsh than I've been about anything, except for Oak and Eden and Southern Comfort. Yeah. So, I mean, if this was what you're going to drink, if it were $10, $20 cheaper, it'd be worth it. I don't think $60 is a good price tag for this, but it isn't a bad bourbon. It's got some nice flavors to it. I wish that it was more complex. I'm guessing, gosh, it's a tough one. I was going to guess about a 4-year age statement. But because it's more mellow, it may have sat in there longer. The Belle Meade was 7 to 11 years. You don't know. This might be blended with something that's older. I don't know. I don't know how old it is. It's a much more mellow pour. All right. Put a little water on it. See if it does anything. Maybe that'll spice it up. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you put water on it and it wakes up. Kind of like somebody in bed. You know, throw hot ice water on them. They wake up real fast. This isn't ice water, though. Wild Wally Mike Schneider. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what to call you. Wally? Mike? Are you trying to say wild walleye? Like the fish? Or Wally like something else? I don't know. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you're here. That's what matters. All right, so we put a little water on this. That opened up nicely. I did bring the proof down. There's a lot less bite to it, but the flavors definitely leapt out at me. Same flavors, the rye notes, the cinnamon. There's a little hint of bubble gum. How weird is that? There's some licorice in it, some pepper, vanilla. And the cinnamon is not candy cinnamon. It's actual like cinnamon, like a little bit on the spicy side cinnamon. So, I mean, it's not a bad pour. So if you were ever deciding you didn't want to try Nelson Brothers because the label's not attractive, the bottle's not attractive, the colors aren't attractive, there's just nothing really enticing about this bottle to make you go, ooh, I want that. It's one of those whiskeys that just kind of sits on the shelf. But honestly, it's not bad. And with a little bit of water, it's even better. So, all right. Mm-hmm. Getting back to the Belle Meade. Higher proof. Quite a bit more zing to it. A lot more flavor, a lot more complexity. Dried out the front of my mouth. Going to go back to this one, then I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those rye notes are just coming out. Strangely, I just got a little bubble gum on that too. That one's got a long finish. This one was very short. This one is very long. I can still feel it on my tongue. All right. I'm not going to give it the whole water treatment because I've drank quite a bit of this. Give it about half. See what happens. I was going to put this on ice. I don't have a glass anywhere nearby that I can put it on ice. The glass that I normally use is upstairs. I forgot to bring it down. So we're not going to put it on ice tonight. I'll put this gorgeous ice sphere away. I'll show it to you first. Isn't that pretty? Nice and clear. I'll put it away. It's all right. And I got 2 more in the wings waiting for next week. Wait till you find out what we're doing next week. That's coming up in just a minute. Okay, so the Belle Meade with a little bit of water on it. That tamed it and opened it up all at the same time. So this is a bottle that I will probably not touch again until somebody comes over and says, hey, I'd like to try that. Because they don't make this anymore. And bottles like that are, first of all, very hard to open. And secondly, hard to go to, hard to want to drink out of, because you're not going to get another one. I happen to have 2 of these. I was smart when I bought them. But that's the end of it. So, just makes you sad. All right. So, coming up next week. All right, you could say that maybe I'm bowing to peer pressure. Or you could say that maybe I'm just curious. I was dubious, I was hesitant, I was waiting to see what other people said, and I'm hearing so much. It's good enough. Ew, no, yay. It's time for me to give you my review. I'm going to do it next week of the new Buffalo Trace product, Traveler. I don't often go out and jump at these new bottles right away. I know a lot of people, as soon as there's a new bottle, like there's a brand new Crown Royal coming out. I want to say it was blackberry. Jeff is watching. I will double check that here real quick. I will double check. Because I put something online about it today. Indeed, it's blackberry. Crown Royal blackberry. So, you're either going to love Crown Royal or you're going to hate Crown Royal. Some of them I like. Like, they don't make the honey or the maple anymore, but they were really, really good. The Crown Royal Peach is tasty. I have not had Crown Royal Vanilla. It probably isn't bad. I do not care for Crown Apple. The Crown Salted Caramel was just okay. Not worth the hype. They definitely did the right thing by lessening the production of that and going with the Crown Peach, which I find just delicious. Well, if the blackberry kind of follows the same methodology as the peach, it could be really, really good. So that's one that people are talking about right now. It's supposed to be released in Ohio in March. Kentucky and Indiana already have it on their shelves. So March 1st, I'm thinking that they might do Ohio with the new Crown Royal Blackberry. Expect it to fly. So you might want to get it out of state if you can, because maybe it'll fly a little slower. But if you want to wait for it in Ohio, it'll probably disappear pretty quick. Jeff says, glasses on, double checking, something on your phone, and glasses off. Thanks for the 3 bingo squares, right? I'm still working on that. I got to get another 15 items, and then we'll be able to do Bourbcast bingo. It'll be fun. But anyhow, we're going to do this Buffalo Trace. It's a blend. It's a collaboration with a country singer who I don't even know. I don't even know who he is because I don't listen to country music. I guess he's like popular or something. These days, if it isn't somebody with the last name of Swift, nobody seems to give a stink. See what I almost did? See what I almost did? That's what happens when you drink 2 different bottles of bourbon. But we're going to get into this next week. We're going to try this out. I adjusted my schedule to be able to make room for this brand new product, and I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, that's it. That's it. We're going to do Traveler next week, and we look forward to seeing you then, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, live right here on Beautiful Bourbon. Thank you for joining us. You could be anywhere else, but you're here with me, and I deeply appreciate it. So take care, and we will see you next week.